continue our meeting on your development, your proposal.
One of the things that understands to kind of not check the charter. And suddenly part analysis and really make it not sure. Then for us to be developing all the properties that make money in the county, like what we constantly talk about.
Yeah.
And that's reality. We're losing money on every house we build in the county.
So I did see something, there, national view or community with it. In 2011, when they did that whole development review of the state legislators, they prevented us from one of the big political profit, and then the other one was also about money if we are losing money wherever we do based on that. But that, I believe, is only for zoning stuff, not comp plan, right?
I don't recall that, because I've never seen that in a public hearing. We have problems with that design, and we have one course by yeah, I mean, we can do that. But there's still a learning route what type of thing itself, like that Joe Cozy. So recently we want all types. So obviously permanent pay the more than spring.
Yeah.
Enrollment. So one's that on a regular basis, that some type of plan for saying. So I don't know get the hard time. Yeah.
Let's make even charter meeting there.
Yep. Just adjusting the frame.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, but you can't hear.
Well, it needs to be connected to the laptop, yeah. So that's why like the camera have to be kind of close to the camera. The only thing, I mean, I guess I can always tilt over to you.
You can right here,
Can you hear us on the mics?
the fact you get a link to the computer is it low?
You're saying in case someone wants to speak from here? Gotcha.
Right, you see that
I'm testing that right now. Give me 1 second.
hey, oh.
So she would figure
Oh, it's even worse when you get the ball spot. It was very hot. Okay. They're all down there.
But you're probably from downtown.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's all there.
So sorry, I was just recording to make sure that you could be heard. So I heard your laughter there. So we should be good to go.
Nice.
recording.
Yeah, it says recording.
Continue live. Yeah. I think that she just went to get a microphone.
Okay.
And I want
Are you just to scooch like one chair? I wouldn't be able to get everybody in shot that way. Thank you. I don't. I see one participant. Let me see. No, that's just you. Nobody else is in.
Yeah, just let me know that. We did that. That's.
Keep in mind, just the mics are right there, so that's what you want to kind of speak into.
Public comment. One comment. Oh,
Yeah, we'll see here.
You're gonna make sure you age, running a OBC at the right in name. What?
Alright.
No.
What?
Laura.
Let's try to see if I can catch
It's invitation. What, any? You have an agenda here?
Oh, rest of it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it.
And I just found on the minutes, just the Bible, I have to change the Bible for myself and something.
Oh,
Sorry, here,
well,
That's cool.
what I was thinking that is that Bible,
Yeah,
Yes.
that
looking at Bible,
it's written.
John and Mark Porter, is that, yeah, Whitefoot, which reviews the FDA and use for campground.
Right, so that's the only thing I can see. Time.
What else?
And then that was good. Really cool.
I expect that. We'll only need a vote, I expect it. Okay. Consideration of addition to the agenda, on the agenda, does anyone have anything else?
Is anyone coming?
We can keep it very busy.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Move on there, approval of agenda.
Yeah, I think we'll just go down through the agenda, if that's okay with you guys, and then at the new business, if there's anything else you want to add.
Yeah. The reports of officers and workers, update, I'll do.
Yes, update on the PRC.
Yeah, we had a number of committee meetings. We created an initiative, the agenda said we did an initiative, petition, charter cleanup and expansion. The initiative petitions was moving forward. Initiative, I'm a little nervous that they're being very conservative about if we're gonna allocate money. And I think we can probably come out and get one to simplify that. The chair has made it pretty clear that we need to simplify. The original 1988 had about 6 paragraphs, maybe. The 2016 was 4.5 pages long. The budget motivating items and this document, the name, as your letter said. We're going to have to fight, and I'm on that. Maybe motion, so now let's see. The charter cleanup, we looked at only place where it's the sheriff department question in the charter. It's been legally removed, but it's still in our union code just because the union code hasn't gotten direction yet. remove it. So they're holding back on that. The one thing that we do have to address probably is the last section of the city of Orlando, and, working group that MOU, but we've completed that, and that means this year, but we're not gonna have it going until probably the beginning of next year, because there's not much to do there. There's a real fear that we don't wanna have too many things on the ballot. So if this falls off the next docket, we always want the presidential out there. So everyone's fighting what happens if we get some presidential. The expansion of the county commission. Personally, I'm fighting for two. Number of people going one. So that it's going to be debated some more. And we have a meeting coming up on the 28th at 11 o'clock in the Concourse area. 11 to 12 in the what's the name? Meeting. Additional topics I should go. You only update you what we just decided. You guys. The initiative committee has gotten much larger in its condition. That's a good. And like that was really good time to do this. So in the initiative committee, it's now as additional. Eric is going to, since we're pretty much cleaned up and not doing anything right now, we are taking on the affordable housing trust in that community. And that's basically taking a look at what Brevard County and I think Sarasota had enacted in their charters guaranteed funding for housing. And the two conservative counties in the data. So in Europe it was that we can do the same. So we're going to talk about that. The other thing is term limits and government structure, separation of powers question. That's going to go into the expansion of the county commission committee. And then I think we have good numbers back in now. What we're looking at in the government separations, in the first meeting, we questioned the mayor about the numbers and one way separation. I asked a question about executive powers separate from the legislative powers. He didn't seem to have a strong opinion about that. And also, I brought up the issue, which I did. One term for mayor for 6 years, which I'm still going to bring up. Well, it's hard, but the thing is, what I'm trying to think is.
Seriously,
no, what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to isolate the money situation, because you got to raise $1 million+ to run for office for that office. So there's a lot of promises that you got to make to take that money. So if you only have one shot for 6 years, in my opinion, you only got 6 years. You can't run again. So you want to, kind of goes that way. The promises can be made, but what are you going to do? So that's why I'm kind of thinking one longer term. But 6 years from an engineering standpoint, it's minimum 5 years active engineering standpoint. So 6 years active, you can get one project done maybe during your term. 2 to 4 years, basically you're going to run it 1 year average. What the hell? You really only have effectiveness at 7 years. So that's going to be a very interesting discussion on separation power. Now, we do separate the mayor. And I think you said it yourself. Is it now we avoid the sunshine issue that the mayor is separate and does not go on that. community on the legislature. So now the right, you guys are private, this is easier than it was.
If we need, the mayor's supposed to be managing the county. And if we can't talk to the person managing the county, how do we resolve issues that are considered?
Well, one of the things I want to be pushing really hard for, and it's kind of in that whole separation of power, is office and that, but which you know, the legislature, because it is in the Congress. Because my experience is it's critical for legislature to control that alternate budget because that is a staff really focused at it. If they want to continue to get money, you can't do what you are. So that's the best way. I haven't seen it work, but I used to work and it works. So, you know, that always should be probably what under legislature to do the separation. Then the other issue is now you have one less person who's making the vote. So that would be another commission potentially. That's why why we had an expansion. I mean, personally, I think what we should do is say well, remember, it's like the Congress you do cabinet, but we could take a number and say, you know, now the district, and we divide that every 10 years on census, and then round it up until you get to max. My thinking is 15. You know, so that would be starting in about 30 years. You know, I don't think it was 15 years. At some point, you cut some.
Well, we're gonna like New York City. It's
No.
not that many people.
Unfortunately, we're not going to do this. I wish we were like this. We don't have the density. New York City has a density of 140,000. We don't. Our density, unfortunately, has been falling. We think it's the density, but it's actually got been less than. It used to be like 17, 18 square people per mile. It's down to about 15. Because you got a lot more spacing. Before you downtown Orlando, and park, you get grid system. You know, it's low density, but it's still it's great. All the new development, so there's cul-de-sac craziness thing that Eastmont, Stony Brook, and all these crazy. Plus, you got wetlands you're trying to do. You're trying to build in the middle of wetlands. You got to leave the token and grab the wetland, dig a big pit, and try to bring some water. You know, instead of just no, it was in New York. New York was 2 miles by 8 miles, and there's 5 million people there. No, unfortunately, no. Not even do that. Brooklyn, maybe would be 1 in 4. 8 to 12 stories, but I thought it's that's a good one. Anyways, well, they did a great job. I mean, these are the one. So I don't know if you haven't seen it, go watch this talk because you really learn detail about in Seminole County, a very small county, they've set aside 75,000 acres, which is a big percentage of the county that's not that big. Historically, it was for Orange County. They separated in 1915. But what he said was they've only had one annexation in the Winter Springs, and there's a couple single family homes. They got a majority vote. They changed that vote. It's never changed. They considered really strong about it. And also, they have found, surprisingly, that it's very cost effective that they don't have the urban sprawl. It's gotten much more productive inside the urban areas. So they densify, create services within the urban areas. They found that it's very cost savings. Instead of just sprawling out like you guys out he said, we're just continuing out the Water County to sometimes. So his message was, try, in Seminole County it's work, draw that line, and it's not a direct line, it's you actually have to use part of the geology and No, it's actually using the actual, like, the different sections and everything, and draw it out of the section, no. But, on the east side. Parcel numbers, actually draw it out of it, just because on the east side, you're gonna have to draw, let's say we get to a shape part, and look at what Seminole County did, and try to understand, legally how to write that in chart.
Yeah.
We have parcel numbers, and that's what they did up there, they carved out based on parcels, it's not straight econ, because they also do the whole private stuff too. So, he said, he very adamant that it made really good sense economically for the county to do it, and we work with service more efficiently over time, which of course, as we identified, it works. The first study, was history. 1951, Record University published a study, the cause of sprawl. This is 1951, Levittown was built in 47, I think it was. So it was 4 years after Levittown, the first urban sprawl development. And they already had seen that this was beneficial for delivery of services. Every home back then was still losing $1 for every dollar for it cost $2 for service. I mean, it hasn't changed. It's not for it. So you can, on the roads, Kelly can tell us how many hundreds of millions of dollars that's going to cost the county. And then you have this, like that, when you do it on the underbill. You remember before in and you weren't that you were pumping stuff with your taxes, you guys.
Well, I didn't say no, I said throw me the numbers.
Yeah.
But tell me the money.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's something that that we need to ask. And so I think we should, as a county, and I'm going to introduce something eventually, that we look at the Office of Sustainability independent, that actually looks at it. Does it make economic sense that we include this new development to our urban area? There's developers that are going to gee, we have great stuff, and we're going to be able to grow corn too. Well, does it really make economic sense? Sustainability, is that really sustainable? Do we have the resources? Will those homes pay enough tax to subsidize the building of all the infrastructure? I would already know. I doubt it hugely.
So what was the board's comments on it? How did they feel about it?
From my point of view, the board not many people because they want to try and do it right. Because it was already a process the commissioner. So there's a way Not yet. No, we have these three things that I've asked a couple of citizens to go on to write up something and support it to us. And I think, particularly Kelly and Fields, Orange, they need to come up with a proposal that we can then address and
I think yeah, we're great on the ordinance and everything about language. That was the initial commission that I did it.
Let's try to work on that. Well, I would like to. I'd like to, if we're going to do something, I'd say August, because this stuff is going to be a lunch on the expansion and everything. That's a lot of work. So, trying, because we got this is going to be a lot of things.
Part of it is changing a lot of the language in the charter to remove the mayor from instance meetings and topics like that. So a lot of people are hesitant about that already, but if they do decide to go for that, it's a lot of work. The urban with the rural boundary, seems like it would have to be its own committee.
Yeah, it's going to have to be environmental. I think that with the expansion of separation of powers, I think we need a very long version walk in there and say, here you go. Because if we try to do it in the system, we will. I really it's not as difficult as they make it out. You just have to go through the document and well, I'll be happy to work with some staff to do this. And actually come up, next week on Wednesday, I have to ask, so it's going to be working next couple days with the signage. So that means it's difficult, as you know, try to do that public meetings, come with the red lines and deal with that. Then you need to let that people in. You don't know how to work with people about that. Yeah, most of it. Well, I mean, yeah, essentially, we're going to have a computer up and we're going to have, a copy of it. We can print one. I'll bring in a jump drive. I'll put it on my Google. Corporate ratings and whatever. Well, the boundary, that's a different question. I'm talking about subdivision. The boundary is going to be, up to the citizens. What is currently zoned agriculture? What is currently zoned 1 to 10, 1 to 5, which is currently outside east of the Levant for this area. There might be other areas that you want to look at. We're still in some rural areas on the west section. We got rural stuff on the west side, which is surrounded by the development.
Yeah, I think the line is that.
Yeah, it's important to include the climate exists.
Together for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all right. And also, there's some on the tap area. There's a little settlement tap. Down in the south part of the county, we should look at places as stormwater study goes along. We should be looking at if this is a place that we need to have storage, then we need to keep it in as low density as possible. We don't want to put a bunch of people's homes in the middle of a flood zone like Houston did. We have like 10,000 homes of flood because they're in the middle of a flood zone now. We're denying the flood. They're on purpose.
So when is the next? When are the next meeting?
So the next year,
14th is for the initiative. It'll be an extended one from my understanding, 1 to 4.
For the expansion committee, the next meeting is June 28th at 11 p.m., 11 to 12. I'm not sure about the charter cleanup when it
the 14th is going to be a long one. And I really want to put the deadline on that.
I would suggest the action of that, perhaps, since you've been requested to bring certain data every time, maybe we get ahead of what they're going to request and visually.
If I could utilize some y'all to help with this, I'd love to sit down and work on the red line. And it's really kind of fun if you're building platform. It's understanding how government should work and how you want it to be. I mean, there's nothing to stop being a parliamentary. Kind of cool. We can design anything we want if we get elected to agree with it.
That's what a charter is.
We can design the building.
That's decided on by the people.
Yeah, it's a very cool concept. And I mean, in the Constitution, original Constitution, it's really, it's one paragraph one. So you can do anything in your county as long as you haven't done it for the state. So it really gives you a lot of good. That's why we're doing split over. One of the things that we should address in this commitment that I'm trying to address is the expansion of the concept of daily split over that no road or linear structure should go to conservation area or parks. And that's municipalities for the county. And put it actually in the radical part of that, because that's not going to be radical. The radical part is the voters can choose. They go to the voters, they don't go to the council. They lose all that council. That's the vote against the people. 89% of people voted for this. And we don't have 4 people from the conversation. No, we want to vote.
That's what's coming for the board, and I think we end up being so busy that we just forget about this. And yeah, I don't know what it's like that. Eric, do you remember that?
You're speaking that.
Your conversation, like split up. The biggest thing, I think it's so many things that we forget about and then it's not such.
But staff and we, yes, I mean, that.
I'm just joking, but that's stage, you know, but it's.
So I mean, I would like, give it y'all one to work on some stuff. Red lines, yes. Because I really think it's much more efficient to put red lines through. I did, yes. I mean, after about 30 minutes, people are going to start on this. My line is stuck.
Yeah, currency might be
And it's,
moving faster.
so I'll feel really good about that. And other things that happen going that field.
Then we have, they're coming in 5 as a full board, that's. At this point first.
Are they also coming as a whole board for July 31st? I have them at
We have a CRC meeting on the 17th. Yes, the next CRC meeting, the general business.
prior to the neighborhood vegetables.
No, this,
Well, this year, so
The next CRC meeting is at Plumville High School. I guess it's week.
No.
It's a big week. That's it, it's 6 o'clock at the high school.
And then, when we schedule working with you. Working to 55.
Yeah. she probably-
Like, we're staying session, you know.
Yeah. I think from a scientific point of view, I don't think it's because the contract all would be very conservative. I think we can do it a public meeting as long as we endorse it for that public area. And that's, and we come back with notes to the court, we can spend our notes if needed. So as long as we follow the law, we can do it. I think it'd be nice for us to be able to get people in the community because, I'm doing for the expansion, in my Tai Chi class, I'm asking all the other students in there, what do you think about the expansion is? I'm asking questions afterwards.
I can listen to your question.
That one was good, I'm going out.
In class.
I would ask people on the street, what do you think about this? I just will walk and talk. And so it was like, because I want to test the audience to see, is this even worth doing? Because if they went like, no, we have 2 term limits enough. Well, that's telling me that a whole bunch of time. But if they said, we could.
Yeah, that is a really road learning, like there's something in the ballot, who's gonna pay off.
That would be good, my time.
I think this way it would be easier to take the general public to the terms issues.
I mean, we might want to even do,
I probably do some survey.
yeah, a survey would be kind of interesting. At some point, we have to define survey on some of this stuff and see what the feeling is in the general public and, open up to the whole county, I just want to see what people think about this. What that's what we do is we do this. We come out of work, we do all this stuff. So, and these are just, there are other issues which are addressed, like EBD should be, in my opinion, regulating municipalities too, because it's obvious the city of Atlanta and others don't have that capacity. So the state of Florida, they have a different definition when rural titles are trying to connect with it on Princeton and use the entire wetland there because it was classified as urban area. So they don't have the same rule set that on county, as in that. And the Supreme Court's been pretty supportive on shorter counties having authority about how we allow this stuff to happen. They can actually zone stuff. We haven't done it much as we should. And all of a sudden, Lake Nona is a nightmare that's happening for us. All the Lake Mary Jane coast flooded because of all the new gone. I drove my car a couple days afterwards. And going power in it, 2 inches of water driving over to our apartment. There's all those people on the lake that flooded. They were out to about a foot in the mountains. So, we're bringing back storm drainage. that even did model. So, model, it's not model.
Well, it's a stormwater.
Okay.
How do you move on to visions and victory?
That's gonna be your design.
I'll ask you about that. Anyway,
Sure.
you are non-I,
Really well attended Audubon Park one. I mean, I don't know how many people signed in, but I mean, the room was full, standing room only. People stayed after, everyone was engaged, everyone was interacting with staff in different stages. You know, the feedback seemed to be pretty good, and the meeting when folks were asked, all the questions were answered, and they felt like they listened or heard back that feedback. So, it'll be interesting to see if any edits are made to the plan after that meeting. And of course, it wasn't the scale manner, part, just kind of a progressive place, so. You know, I looked around the room, at least a little like a couple houses down, sure, saw some of my neighbors and stuff, so. It was, but we probably changed, I want to know the neighborhood, not the posted, so we go around. But, yeah, it was a really good experience, overall, it was a great thoughts and concept. I mean, you had to cross people, it wasn't just, you know, people care about planning their kids, you know, their own, like, there was a big mix of those. So, I don't know, I haven't had a chance to make it to that many other ones, looks like there's another one, 6. Well,
there's one tomorrow.
Those are tomorrow.
Florida.
Oh, I will get that.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Okay, that's tomorrow.
Pretty so nice.
Really, 6.
Tomorrow is at,
Oh, 27, March 27.
yeah, tomorrow, 26th, but that's
So that,
good.
okay,
Thank you, Larry, before you apply.
yeah, nice. I'm scheduled myself, moving forward.
that would be an interesting to provide, that's probably the closest one you're gonna have in the CL, right? So, I mean, that'll probably be a good opportunity, I know it's summer and all that, it's out there, but I'd be interested to know how they feel about the partner, how each
Should have had.
so, I have a community partner.
We have about a projected amount of 30 people to come through the event, right?
Oh, cool.
Which is usually good in here, yes.
Yeah, I didn't RSVP when I showed up last time. It's just
What's the feeling about the, one of the activity centers that we were there? We need to push back on that, or what's the feel, what's the staff feel about?
So the community, out there is against it. They didn't show up at the one at the Audubon, but they did show up at the one previously, a couple of people. But I will say that during the presentation, though, that Albert was making, he's not really talking about the rural family villages, he's trying to focus more that area that we are at. So that wasn't really brought up. But I think it's either tomorrow night or maybe the one that's still in the one.
everyone's trying to post this.
That's what I heard.
Maybe it makes no sense to have activity center. There's no, unless you expand the whole range.
It's because I think people are for market. All the roads
I know the wrong ones.
and then there's the Lake Picket, north and south of the Colony Road Center.
What's that? It makes no sense, there's no application. We got 2 roads. Although I guess we can find that before probably
They did a feasibility study, and then they saw the project. I think exactly what I thought was gonna happen, the feasibility study showed that they were losing a bunch of money, it's not worth it. So they got.
how that we have one, they're pushing, I'm sure. I think a lot of this, really.
I don't know, that was probably happened after that. If I'm successful.
You know? I will
But everyone dies. You know, if they die, or they
I said,
going to run, so they were gonna stop that.
I started with when in 19, like, people think that hotel involved 50, but of course, now. And we were, it's right, because like, this is the guy without a part of it. You know, I think, so, but, yeah, it's all right. It was one of the I mean, unfortunately, this area, until we, when it comes back to the whole thing about, a sustainability office to look at this stuff, and give you guys on the counties of the city and the county data points. And yes, you can do the development over on the east side, and you can do the grow, and you can use, but it will cost you $365 million. There are the things that are going to cost you. Like you want to do, it's your vote.
But after, when we have the charter, items, or positions, so they ask for a cost, what's the cost analysis? You know,
They,
but it's just the price for
That's.
the,
you have it, broad. Yeah.
so I mean, why do you have that with the bottom?
You should. That's something, I mean, I think as a voting body, you should know your commitment to the community forever. You know, you make a vote there, put it down, a new development, like, on it. You're saying that community and all the future people, you're gonna be, taking care of this. And then one of the big complaints from the Peace Corps, when I spoke to the citizens yesterday, was the developer basically took off without closing a lot of fixing all the stuff. And I can say in my neighborhood, that happened too, but I live downtown. We have a bunch of unresolved pieces of property, you know, Hampton Park. It took us years to convince the city of Orlando to take that over because it was the old end. We still have traffic circles we don't know who belongs to because there's no deed to them.
Oh my gosh, there's land in the middle of Wicklow, and there's that, you know, those medians,
Yeah.
that like all grass and trees on it. You know that it's privately owned? Yeah, that is private, that's what's a big county, it's privately owned. Guess who owns it? Probably the biggest real estate person in the rural area.
Oh, what's your name?
Yes,
Yeah, so it's,
yeah, Harrigan, so owns those medians. And
that's good.
that's the
Well,
I think.
is he paying them time to? He pays them.
That's a good question. I don't know.
If it's a property, you should be paying.
That's true.
But, I mean, I see, it said that you guys have big lawn service contracts.
But I also think there's gonna be something nice to. Yeah, he is a good guy. It's all good. What you got?
Very much.
It's going, or even that you know, I mean, I don't think that
That's why they would.
that was you know, exactly.
All right, so we're gonna update and let pick more. Thank you.
Lake Picket North, so we have a subcommittee community meeting on July 15. And we are going to somewhat hijack, is it the proper word, hijack? The meeting. Yeah, like virtually hijack. Yeah. So we're gonna somewhat hijack the community meeting and do a summit for the people out there, educational summit. And so, I recommend you come out because it's going to have some presentations on stormwater projects the county's been doing. We're gonna cover transportation planning with the roadway roadway potential analysis studies that are going out in the area. We're gonna cover staff recommend and they would say they recommend that you also need to be there to talk about the wetlands impacts and stuff like that. And I feel like I'm missing one.
One piece of property that
This job. Transportation, stormwater, vision 20.
Vision 2050. We're gonna have Vision 2050 there as well to make a presentation.
we're kind of.
So it's gonna be, we're gonna try to get Clear Lake Middle School. It's gonna start, I don't know what time it's gonna start, but it's like 9 to 12.
It's no point, right? That's a sad.
Yeah.
Probably 9:30.
Yeah.
We have some.
Yes. And we're gonna try to have, I talked to her about like Dunkin' Donuts, like, some coffee, have people eat croissant, put that, for people, get them a little bit happy in the morning. And then, we're gonna do presentation, each one's gonna do presentation like 10 to 15 minutes long. Then we're gonna,
You talk like an open room in that one.
not yet, but so we're gonna have first those presentations, 10 to 15 minutes each. Then we're gonna do stations for each of those topics. Because there might be, like, I think there might be 150 or more people there. At each topic, we're gonna have maybe 3 people. And then we're talking about when people come in, they're gonna get a number, a group number. So then each person so let's say each topic, like we have 4 of them, right? There can be 3 people at each one. So each staff member at each one is gonna have a group. So then they'll be at the groups and then we'll rotate the groups. That way they're not overwhelmed with like 150 people asking questions at the stations. Yeah. And then after that, we're gonna come back to sitting down. Then everybody's asked some questions again, clarify whatever. And then we'll go into developers presentation and then his Q&A.
So that development is supposed to.
Yes.
So,
But the idea that I have with it is that by the time everyone gets to the developer, all their questions on stormwater, traffic, wetland impacts, and all that will be answered by staff in a general manner. Like because a lot of questions are asked and don't involve them. So, and then they don't know the things that we're already doing to resolve some issues that are happening. Once they get that out of the way, then when they get to developer, they get focused on that development, the issues of that development. And they'll be more informed too to ask better questions. And, you know what I'm saying? That's the idea.
maybe the big concern for a lot of us in environment is that opens up a public road. And that will open the grass of the south kind of develop. Because they will open the bridge that we will have to talk. And there's a reason why the commissioner did not buy that parcel. And they bought their well, they have a parcel. And that's how we thought. If we find 605 that conservation area. I mean, I think it's a stormwater issue. It's like we need the storage with all development north and south of there in the upper econ basin. As we make more and more impervious features, the econ doesn't have the capacity to absorb the water or disperse the water going storm events. And what we saw in Eden, and I'm speaking of the Holy Trail back, and I went down and inspected Snowville Road up in Sonoma County. If you mirror that bridge that crosses the Econ and Snowville, the only one you can see that bridge is the very top. Anything else is in the border, out at 100 yards from the bridge side. There's the river and on the place. We have white soil around the forest because they pick up the dirt. If the quartz soil doing that hydrological cycle, all that we can do, push that over what used to be a black run along the trail throughout the whole week, all that area along the weekend. We went in with I can be doing that. It was big, white sand, big, very interesting to see what happened. But we certainly can't afford to develop. Even we grow is going to impact because we don't have this going to increase the way right now and we're going to lead on since I've been involved with it since the late 80s. I've watched a normal flow, but now it goes down to dry and it goes to the flood state very rapidly because there's no capacity other than sponge, especially in the place that we talked about yesterday is part of the problem that we grow. What used to be for the wetness included, I mean, borrow, what everyone calls raised borrow units. They're 50, 60 feet deep. And they use that soil to build up all the other soil, which now we lost more capacity for storage. Put homes there. And my fear is if they do get rid of the ground, this is something that we talked about when I was talking, this another thing that Seminole County has been very instrumental in, we failed in punishment. Because they're buying now, which is conservation areas, and economically, that is sustainability issue. Because when we buy a golf course, you actually increase the values of all the homes. You actually get money by buying a golf course. Because all the home values now increased by when we said 75% in plus 2 years. So you get these tax revenue, and the citizens in those areas in Seminole County agreed that they would pay part of the cost of buying that project, $40 million. They're buying it over time and reimbursing the county. So it's a win-win. You have open space, you get storage space, storm events. Meanwhile, we're developing our golf course, our road market there, a bunch of probably back a little more story reconstructed that should be in California. All the reconstructed are not, should not be built there. People forget about Lake Petty, which you got. I don't know if you guys know that. Down by the airport, there's a place on the east side, right before we get it. So really old apartment was only when it was here when I moved in 78 down there. And 436 car in that year. And it was made out of wood. About 15 years ago, the termites stayed there. And totally destroyed it. Then you go the whole thing. Every single one of these wood structures that go today. Termites are crazy, Mike. Would. I mean, and it's insane because what happened, in my opinion, is developers found this design in California. It's a earthquake design. It's good for earthquakes. It's structurally you have a bunch of problems that can bend and twist. We're a sandbar. We geologically that. We've had earthquakes in the past that we can feel that what form or no form. But we have termites in the senior center right beside my house. All the rooms around my area have termites. So this is insane that the county is doing this stuff. Right? Anyway, so we're next one.
We're working on this project. I don't know.
Go ahead and use this one. I have to be around that. Okay, I went to the first film where they had a series of them down at the Ilex on Conway, the UF Center. And it was really good. Saturday, really nice presentation. And then we did exactly what you guys described. We had different stations, we all looked at it. And there, unfortunately, when I went to, there were not many people, there were like 3 of us there. And I gave a lot of them the model, and I think it's all the way the model, and we probably have a model, thought be that. And it doesn't appeal. And they understand it, and they're going to try to address the issues. They seem to be very open about trying to deal with stormwater events, trying to do storage. And I also talked about you guys looking at the water too. Trying to get a little more wetland minor wetlands that we will go into. We're taking all the runoff from people's homes, streets, and everything, putting it in the stormwater, and then design it for a 100-year flood and design which is probably wrong at this point in time. And that doesn't send into the natural system. There's no treatment except for stopping the house or something. But those stormwater treatments are deep and they go narrow and they go. There's no currently zone there to collect the nutrients out of that water and straight runoff and that stuff. And on top of it, it's all this fence like it being sprayed on the yards, which is going in there. Then it scared me. I had friends who were building guy and filming what he did into it. We're describing geology with them. They're going into the ocean, geologically going into the overlayers, which is the fish pond, which are strong, which are actually the strong what the surface wanted to use superficial aquifer. It's not staying on the surface, it's going to penetrate the superficial aquifer through. It's kind of scary. Because a lot of people draw their drinking water in the lower end of it. Superficial aquifer, they're not going to be enough to it.
But I did talk, the two stormwater presentations that we did talk about, what, you know, we're talking about the low impact development. But he said you had, I didn't know that.
So very west. So, and like I said, county, we all have some sort of tool here. I could reach out and see if we can get it operating.
Like so, more.
No, it was the Army's hospital, right? There was the county had to do this study. I'm going back a long time ago. It's probably like, I want to say like 2013, 2012 maybe. But I'm sure a lot of concepts are the same because of use of value in it. So they weren't like giving it something. I was just kind of curious, you said stormwater updates. Are there active things that are going on right now to like modify stormwater regulations? I haven't decided.
Yeah, we've had two stormwater work sessions, and we have this like software generated system that they're working on that would be able to see when a storm comes in, where is it going, and how much flooding would happen in that area, so they can give them notices to evacuate. So they have that they're working on. We'll try to get that more accurate. And then the other things they're working on is just trying to get ideas of what to do to prevent future flooding. And you're also looking at possible mitigation there.
Okay, cool. Is that the county or is that the water management?
No, the county, we had two work sessions.
See,
Two to be.
I think I remember this yesterday. So like the gallon hall or
You know what? So yeah, so the work session was long. I don't know if it wasn't long, but it was like
45 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
How much they please?
the presentation, but I don't. So yeah, what they were talking about yesterday, trying to bring that presentation down to like 15 minutes.
yeah, that's what I heard.
It could be done because the reason why I say it could be done is a lot of it is covering like Orla Vista and what's the other thing we got? I thought we were
Oh, then she will be.
Shingle Creek area. So I mean, if you're gonna be in Eastwood or whatever, talking about, well, you're not gonna make those like irrelevant. You know, so there's a lot of things that could be cut out.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't see it being impossible to get that.
It's also, what I saw was in this one, we were saying this, they had a road show in the county, I was, in the fourth session.
Yeah, it's such. I was.
Good.
What was that? Was the county?
That was kind of,
That
yeah, it was county staff, it was, Liz and all, and so, it was me, Brevard. She's the lead, this week's the, what's it, Tim was there, he was the,
Oh.
the boss of, yeah, oh, that's, no, it was Tim, which I think is a section two, where we had, yeah, and he was good, Liz was there, and the consultants, the lead consultant, who, the work, Dr. Lee, I gave him a whole slew of things, but I think that's related, they're coming, they're trying to create the whole stuff, and trying to come up with a model, this, I mean, honestly, the weather patterns changing. We're seeing storms, and I've worked with 45 years. I haven't seen a storm like this in the whole time. It's all.
Music storming. Yeah, that like when I got out right now. Yeah, I couldn't see a thing. Everybody throw eight was like going slow, and it looked like so you know if you're well, there's a hurricane. You know, you're by the ocean, the waves are like going like this. Well, That's what was, well, yeah, it's TV, but that's what was happening far away. And I'm like, where's this water coming from? It was like waves coming over the ground.
It's just and I really think Amherst County should invest to rectification, have their own rectification, so do an analysis of, taking it down to a much lower level. Like the international, we're pretty close to the national, nowhere, I don't know.
I was gonna say that I started a new job and actually built model.
Okay.
You guys become pretty familiar with all this stuff. Feeling a little uninvolved with this, I think was a bit, but I've been learning a lot about actual models, seeing like, oh, we run along this form, plug it in, and see all of your but well, this stuff that we can handle right now, well, we're slow down development. Like farm, we're all models.
Sounds like you're the appointed contact here forever.
Yeah, you guys point me out. It says stormwater updates, but more concrete or things that better than
And then I think, to me, it comes back to sustainable development. It's not noticing that there's still development on the east side, or down in Sugar Creek that we're actually contemplating around, development to the floodplain. We're just asking problems. The whole area along House Road, I think we should address that area and talk about finding it out, because that is a player.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally think that whole apartment complex that was flooded, and I mentioned that during the work session too, like, we should just buy it out and use it as a reservoir.
Well,
For like overflow, when the river overflows. Sorry, I was gonna say, so if you can watch the past few work sessions on this,
it's real honesty, and what it is.
yeah, so.
They usually have the RCB guys usually break down the topics and hot links. You can actually jump through that section. You don't have to go through the zip through the video. They actually go through.
If you go to the county website, you have the video archive section where everything is under this meeting. And they break that up into different videos. And there's also the council's website. Like if you go there and you go to the agenda, each agenda item has a video too. So it breaks down that way.
Yeah, we just got links to that. The one thing I have to say that's really annoying is the electronic agenda is no longer available online. The big book
Yeah.
is no longer available.
It's like ADA.
But that's no reason that the ADA is. We used to have to deal with it right now. So.
Well, you just had a friend who was going around soon everybody. So that's fine. But on the stormwater thing, so if you go through these, and I think you'll see like some of the ideas that we brought up. But like we're looking for like ideas of prevention and then ideas of mitigation. And then like what needs to be working on that software, like that's so cool, like predictability, warnings and stuff.
How are you doing model? How are you getting that model?
Right now I'm working on designing some solar panels. Besides in Arkansas, really big ones. Hence where my San Diego out in Mexico, like the big second biggest solar panel deal we use for. So that one we're taking like past historical rainfall, rainfall, taking it all very soon, and we're actually building up a model using for the 100-year storm, the 25-year storm, and we're seeing hey, what areas of flood. Like I said, that's what we can over the solar panel and all. We're going for that.
You run that as the soil, the purple.
We pulled that data from USGS. The east side of the region so big, and that would kind of be what it's already out there, and sort of like the runoff of the soil or it's kind of go there, or they get a lot of rain, we'll go on, so flooding. Usually 100-year storm, kind of what the scenario that.
How often do you look at your system? Every 100 years ago.
But I think that's 5 years,
Yeah, I mean, that's the joke of the whole thing, is we could call these hundred, there's some, it's seen happening 3 to 5 years. Yeah, they're getting stronger, but again, you know, the rainfall drops, it's huge, you know, you're seeing a whole bunch of how never used to see.
But I did tell Joe, or Brett, I don't know, who was doing the that now it's a thunderstorm that are happening, that's bringing so much water and
Yeah, rain is made, this could be part of the development pattern, and there's something that. Yeah, historically, we used the rain in that, really, you know, in my 60 years, in 57 years. It never rained like it does now. They always know that it's real lot. That's what it's supposed to be. It's heavy. After the summer, we don't get thunderstorms. It happened at 9 o'clock at night. There's a thunderstorm here tonight. So we're getting weird patterns. You know,
See, that's the back of Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, we get like it was rain like all day kind of thing. If you do, then I came here, it's like, oh, it's rain for like 30 minutes and it stopped, it's like sunny again.
it's in the fire garden and sunny the back of it.
But
No, it's
now
not.
it's not anymore. Now it's like all day, it's been gloomy all day.
So, a lot of like rain. And it's, my grandma's tree.
So
I mean, now, let me go back to Rock Street. I actually drove that right after the play too. So,
you guess that?
no, I took it as I'm
Or that.
well, what happened was I couldn't get south on Awful University because they could block up and on the plane. But no north towards Macaulay, where we bought the property, that was my check. Because I had a check where the flooding happened. So the area on the homes flooded. But then down at the property that the county's now bought, which is Sagas, very different, right?
Hey, yeah, I can do the that's.
But that property did not flood outside its normal bounds. So that told me downstream, it did not flood beyond its normal route. So what happened was the river expanded to its normal point. And you gotta look at the history of that area. Back in the 80s, that area had a huge mud fire. It burned it a year after that. The whole county was full. It was looked like people Beijing, China in the day. You couldn't see for about a year. Because that whole area was burning all the mud. Why was that happening? Because my theory was probably wrong, but they built the dam of like Eden Road back in the 50s. It changed the quality. Really. And I have no idea. I haven't found the story behind it, that control structure. It didn't make sense that you block the water upstream, which is where people were in. But it changed our drawing downstream when people now live along Routes Road. And it changed the plants and it changed the organic chemistry of the soils because it dried the soils out because it dropped the water levels for a very long. That's why we have a muck fire. Because all that probably organic soil oxidized really fast. So we know that we just want to foods in the area. The homes are up on the state. 8 foot is wood safe, but everything's oxidized below them. So it's that's what happens when you get wet soils and they dry. But so that whole area actually depressed even more. So so when the county okayed it back in the 90s, they did their typical use harmony analysis to look at fine soil and hydrology. Well, guess what? It's all dry because you had this damp. It was still probably once it was still in the plant, as we now know. So that's not going to change unless you. So that area is going to flood again. And what happened is, but the eastward we kind of alluded to, is the drainage system worked. But the problem was the St. John rolls. When the St. John rises, every other creek via econ or the kind of, they back up. They back up because they were St. John's up here and these guys are, and they can't get out the word, so you just went back up. And that's what happened in all those areas, St. John's. And then they use what the water management people, they opened up and pumped water out of Bull Creek, Lawrence, and all those properties that flooded, they're using that flood limit, so they flooded all those properties in months. So, the water trails and water went out, I know that. We couldn't get into the area because they were trying to lower the St. John's impact. So the St. John's up for very long, 44 was underwater. How long? 46, I'm sorry, 46 was underwater. So it's a big problem, and it's not gonna get better. If we continue building out in wet areas, it's gonna get worse.
But I think,
Okay.
when you see, do that, follow up, report back to us in the meeting. What you think? I mean, it's been like all the feedback there was work really helpful and like you're sitting down, one of the boards that if you all the feedback and everything that's been happening here has really intrigued you.
Yeah.
You want to do some?
Yeah, I recently got appointed to the board meeting. Green Place. I think Place meeting, we did our second meeting, but they have $100 million budget. They're looking to buy properties that they want to count for conferences. So we was the last meeting and we're friendly with the properties areas that we want to concentrate on the east side, and we're kind of thinking of ideas of how we can build out business people to sell the properties. The way they work, they don't particularly don't do anything for me, but it's all chosen by the citizen, whether I own the property or who's all of it. Yeah, we haven't let it through so
We should look at how we should look at a way to charter, can we continue replenishing that fund?
Yeah, is that one? Not
it's not,
It'll be fresh, it'll be fresh. Once it's gone, it's gone.
another talking about it is look at ways where we replenish it, but right now for one time. The $1 million sounds like a lot, but we'll count in the government, but when land work is so expensive right now.
I'd like to see, I've had meetings with staff, along with US Forestry, as a water trail person. It's my interest in trying to complete the water trail in Orange County. Currently, the water trail goes down Deer Park Road around the Morgan Ranch, it's a road walk, 30 miles. Then it goes up to 520, and then goes to Hatfield, Wisconsin. So we've been working for about 10 years now trying to reroute that. So right now we have Split Oak, which actually has a launch place, which is the place of pulling that trail. Moss Park has orange place. Cosby Marsh has orange place. We have not orange place out Scott yet, but that's in plan. And EPD has been very diligent, being very supportive, giant accolades for them on trying to purchase lands to help with water trail, because it does two things. In fact, it does the water actually feeding trail, but it also completes the corridor project. Because we have the north-south corridor that we're trying to establish from the south part of the state to the north. And we're going to use the Florida National Scenic Trail for that design. We basically do two for one. But with that in mind, what I want to do is get the US Forestry, which does have budget $5 million to work, and DPD is aware of that. So I've introduced them to a number of properties, one of which is eventually will be bought. Two other properties are not willing yet. So it's a little frustrating, and then we have a problem with Brightline. Brightline doesn't want to use the National Scenic Trail that will underneath the training jack on the road that goes by the prison and Stritters Down by ICP. It's an overpass. I'm not sure why they don't want us. And I have to work with probably this board commissioner and you about trying to negotiate a passage by coming up that road. We will all be road. I don't know if that's that means. it comes up to where the prison is, and it goes by Chris Stanton. Going east to Fire 28, but before you get to Fire 28, what is get we've seen it on the south side, going down to the cattle impasse, and hopefully it goes you the landowner that allows to go to that property, that's one of the properties that we're trying to purchase, which is it's the last missing piece in our stock. And it's mostly the green branch of the econ actually goes through that. So most of it's a combination. And once we're there, then we can get up to Savage Creek, which you guys know about. That's eventually we'll get up there, and then we'll go up to the existing trail. So we're slowly getting there. But the key thing is I want us to work with you at forestry. They bought hundreds of acres in Summer County just over the border when we had roadblocks. They will fund us to get off the road. Because we start about 300 miles or 1,200 miles on roads. And this is probably the longest section that's on the road in the urban areas. The country up in the Panhandle is not so bad. It's actually kind of people up town is but let me ask did any updates on the Richfield stuff? The some of the people were asking about last time.
Yeah, we're looking into it. It might,
The fire.
there's like a building there that we probably put an enclosed building there for a meeting space. You know, I think that. Yeah. So a couple of things, going on to the next item of basically items to be able to look out for. We do have the wetlands ordinance, we have this 3D ordinance, stormwater, fluoride, which you may be able to use some help with, hopefully, yeah, that moves forward, then we really need to get volunteers out, so I know my staff, I didn't really get an update on that plan. I don't know if you guys want to share with the.
So we created infographics with all the information about Claris, links to the presentation, and we asked people to return to Straw Valley because at that point it had been almost the 30-day mark. And if this develops further, they will only have 30 days to return it to Orange County Utilities. So we went door to door in the Wedgefield community, mostly in the residential area, not the houses are, a mile away from each other. And we were able to get a lot of the area. We didn't cover the area in the gated community, but it wasn't too bad. And I had some volunteers out there helping me out, and a lot of them really gave me a stack and we'll just keep going. So it went well. Saturday started raining pretty bad, so we were kind of out of luck then, but I haven't updated with utilities, Orange County Utilities, to see if they've received more ballots. I'm just waiting for a bit longer to check with them on how much they're.
Well, we had contact with a lot of the people who were standing outside their homes or wondering, what the canvassing was in regards to. There was a very positive response about those who came over. So I heard a lot of positive things, a lot of different sides, but mostly everyone was talking
This
about how
Orange County Utilities might probably finally right now here.
Just purchase the property and, fix it up. It looks like it really needs a lot. So hoping that those improvements will not fix the problem.
Maybe there's something back.
Yeah, it would be some.
Yeah, just we actually.
Yeah. No, it is sustainable. They'll be paying for the purchase. But it is upgraded, so the county will be paying for it. But it is sustainable. It's not as treated for people out there. They're worth is raising prices on them.
What do they even work on?
Underground.
Okay, so they have that's all we should, yeah.
Exactly that.
Is that a friend of that really know? And on the Mormon ranch, Purple Beach was on the Mormon ranch, so if you go down California, there's a purple plant there. They go down the dirt road and look on Google, you see wellheads every half mile. So, in half, the divide problem in half, everything on the east side is on clock. The University wells has time before it comes towards the west. So they're in trouble. So, what
It's like a wetland ordinance coming up at.
Yeah, it's still. The big parking lot out there. What, street ordinance, stormwater? When, more of things.
As
Transportation. Oh, it's vision 0.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, vision 0 and then vision 2050, we forget.
First vision.
Vision, it's part of it, so first, DOT came up with it, target 0. And then the county, I guess, we branded it on vision 0, which is like target 0.
That doesn't sound good, but that was vision.
No, I didn't do my that, but.
That's what I mean. Vision 0.
Darn, I mean,
It's all road, baby. Take lane and, I don't know, it was.
there's like 0, target 0 for the FDOT, the marketing.
They didn't work that one out.
Maybe we should stuck with target 0, but it's targeting 0, fatalities on road.
Oh, this is so. Oh,
So vision 0, they just have, yeah, they target 0. To be honest.
but that's really taking my mind. It's. Okay.
The 0, fatality.
So this is the motor, definitely.
Everything, so it's all focused on safety, changing behaviors by changing infrastructure so that people are forced to make better choices on the road in order to prevent fatalities, whether they're in a car or on a bike or walking.
One of the things my brother lived in Seattle, which had a really strong bicycle program. And they have been separate lanes on the road. Like City of Orlando is on a 2-lane Romulus, that come down Romulus in 22 lanes. But, what they didn't tell us either is they only took people who lived on it on the street road. I can see the street from my porch, so I don't even count. But evidently, because it's wider sidewalks, I guess, which is not, from a bicycle point of view, is not really the right thing to do. You really want it to be on the road, but separate, visible, separate, and that's what they're doing.
It's funny you mentioned that, the last one we had, we actually put a proposal, we bid on that, the project. We lost it, but we had this really cool idea that we're gonna take one of the lanes, the bike one, and so we just, half of it this way, half of it the other way. But FDOT and like they're like, no, we want the here in this path, and going right here, like
So, as I understand, it's going to be a separate sidewalk, sort of, like what they've done on the South Street. You see what they've done on the South Street. I think that's what they're going to do.
Widen the sidewalk and then change it so that pedestrians on this side of it and the bikes on this side.
They did do that again on the South Street. When you're going home, going down, but going South Street, they've done, right before you get on it. Well, basically,
by the Greenwood Cemetery is right there.
Yeah.
There's the Greenwood Cemetery, that on the right hand side, they brought it to the bike path right there.
but it's probably 10 feet wide. I mean, I walk it at night, that's part of my walk. But the problem with that is now the bicycle is separate from the main road. So when you come up, your turn situation that they don't see. Many times I've almost seen people where my Civic is a big piece of metal right there. I've missed people that way. And believe me, I don't want to hurt anyone. When I see it come, when I turn off from the first one, I can see it. And what Seattle has done is, and Denmark has done this too, their design development, their work, they are prioritized over any other street, one-way street, the way they design it, so everyone's going the same direction. And the bicyclists have priority at lights, so they actually snake up in parking place, and then the cars all wait for the bicycles to do, and then they can start getting the trucks. But right now, with these bicycle paths that they designed in the city of Orlando, people are still will get killed. I can tell you, on my walking, it's not safe even when you walk, because you still have to deal with collision points and moving across these open areas, and motors want guilty with it. You don't turn all the way like this, but look at the person over here on the sidewalk who protect this, doesn't bend. Yeah, that's a huge problem, and that's something Orange County should look at other cities and countries and how they've done it, because it's been done. And we don't need to be bad to have a contractor say, well, no, that's a great idea. Well, come on, look at what other people's done.
Every time I design roads, I was able to be a state road 46 in Sanford, I have easy bike lanes. You actually get on these bike lanes, but not 46, it's so scary.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you see these trucks passing so quick.
I tell you,
It's just 5 foot bike.
unfortunately,
I'm covered. There's nothing in between you and what the sun.
too, and I'm part of the problem with that, because I'm back in the sun.
Drive so I can.
No, back in the early, about 1978, 79, 78 time frame, the state of Florida would just go to the road and that's it. There was no bike space. So there's a movement back in the early 80s, trying to provide space for bicyclists. And after we had bicycle coordinators at the state, that's how progressive the state used to be. We had 2 people employed at the state level that would review and give input on how to design the roads. And at the time, we were coming from a straight road, and that was it. And we, I used to run my bike at Cocoa Beach on about 20 minutes 2 lane. And I would just ride the white lane all the way there. It was dangerous. And I didn't drive. And what we would argue before was what we have today. By the way, not at the time it was free, but they expanded some. I mean, that's all we could get. We were coming from nothing, so we were like, hey, we had the white line where we're right on before. And now we have a straight, but the problem is, the sweepers, all the trash goes in there, the bicycle thing, they were in Alaska, it goes there. But then, you gotta remember, what didn't exist back in the 80s and 90s, these things killed that, literally, because, there's a guy killed on East 50 back 10 years ago, he was riding a bike, in the bike lane, and someone probably texted him, smashed him to bits. That was when I was going to work. That happens. But, so that's why we want separation of physical, not physical, individual like this. We want, when you hit that, a wire or a wall, we want you to stop. And that's what we should be doing in Orange County. We've been fighting about sidewalks. Difficult for about 5 years now.
Funding for with the, I think we call it transportation, like accelerated. Accelerated. Safety transportation. Program. That one is long, the name for the road. No, it's, I forget how they're getting the money. I think it's maybe sales tax or something, but it's, I forget how much it is. Maybe 100 million? What's his name? That sounds really good. So they have these different project lists for the different districts that this money can go toward. And some of it's toward sidewalk, and I was like, I didn't ask for those sidewalk in Vigo, which just before that briefing about this program, I had a briefing on what was going on with the sidewalks was asking for near the bus, they were just asking for a slab near a bus stop. So the kids don't have to stand in the street or anything, and I was asking for lights there, you know, so they could walk the bus stop, not in the dark, because the high school students were like walking in the dark. And those sidewalks, so they were all in the street, in the dark, to their bus stops, and then having to then stand for waiting for the bus, like in the grass if there was any, you know, or in the street. So they're like, oh, there's no money for sidewalks. So then the next week, I learned about this $100 million that they're doing for some sidewalks. I'm like, why was that part on this list? And they're like, oh, it's just too many streets. And I'm like, I was not figuring
That's one of that's one of my great this development pattern that we had in this county. All the development happens, and then we have, you know, communities that have been existing that have to deal with this stuff. I mean, unfortunately, I've seen bodies in the 50s, you know, and it's because they didn't have a safe passage. But 50 was therefore people live on both sides. You got transit going back and forth, and sometimes they don't make it, and they get liable cars.
Yeah, so they were adding street lighting all up and down the Fort Christmas Road. And I was like, no one can really drive out there. Why do you think lights?
No, I think what I would recommend.
Well, then, you know, later on afterwards, I'm working with the property, it's how we consider an intersection road. That's a good idea. But then I was like, at least let's make them motion detected lights too, detection lights.
I like that idea. Nor my idea. We need to have on-demand crosswalks that turn lights on for people to cross over. Because if you have the lights on, my big problem with lights is you become oblivious to it. Looking at all these lights and all these parking lots, all lights. You don't see that someone's tagging the wall. For instance. The same thing on the road. Like, really bad spot. I used to drive at 5-1. There's Home Depot as you go over the overpass with the Home Depot right by 436. A lot of people are running across that section. There's no street lights, lots of lights for 2 miles. You know, for us commuters, we can celebrate that, but for a walker, it's terrible. So what we really need, and you can actually take this from some of the animal ways we track animals. You look at where animals have been killed enough. And when that becomes a point of, hey, we need to put something there, just X number of animals have died in this area. That's the same thing we need to be looking at in Orange County and the city data of fatalities and other and non-fatality hits to figure out where are people crossing the roads. Now let's look at data for the last 40 years. That'll tell you where people are crossing, but that doesn't change. It's like where you at UCF, where do you put the sidewalk? Look for the dirt. That's where the kids are walking. Look at the sidewalk right there. And it's the same thing. Look at the body parts. That's where you look at the on-demand lighting. The flashing ones like in City of Orlando, we discussed more about the flash. People don't stop it.
But you have a point there. The lights are everywhere and always on. You don't pay as much attention to it as we did. And it's harder to see too.
It is.
Signals and stuff. So like I can drive at night now, I like get over, you know, it's just the lights are just like
it gets really
it
hard.
makes it hard to with all these lights on. But if I had, you know, just the lights that were needed that turned on, it would make it so much easier to see the road and see what's there.
I advocate for on-demand line crossing, like let's say you build one somewhere by the Home Depot. There's all those guys, you guys want to drive on these 50. But when you come in, all those folks are sitting there waiting for the jobs to happen there. And all those guys have moved over there during the winter season. It's dark until 7:30 in the morning. They're crossing the roads in darkness, and it's scary as hell for us who are driving through that. We don't know where these people are moving across the environment. And if we just do it on, like this might get crossed, press the button, but when you do that, it's like
Barriers come up and
lights go down and there's like you can even put flashing LED lights on the path. They didn't say
yeah. Those some areas like I think it's like in DC, I think that where the Senate building is, like all your barriers on the ground.
Like all rooms, do they get projected? It's possible. I mean, they're crazy.
I can see that, but that's.
I thought that's the easiest. But there's.
No, but it's not the ground, but with some, the ground, the barrier.
Oh, those,
Where it's.
well, we have, at Kennedy, we have one of them. And they pop up, and they have an issue, we pop the one.
It's like arms.
Beautiful.
You know, they come down the cross line, let's bring fire there and go out.
It does work. One of my coworkers, we're coming up to the Air Force gate in Dayton Park. And there's Air Force gate on by the cruise ship, on the south side. And he's come, something happened. And it popped up and his car was over it and through the entire car, destroyed his car. And they paid for it. But we really need it.
Well, that would definitely be vision zero, like, except for whoever's in the car decides like what happened.
I really need a task force or something to looking at the data.
It's like the Japanese.
Oh, cool.
Great, great.
Well, that's neat.
I think that's a little much, but.
That's pretty cool. But I mean, we need something that is.
All like carnivals showing up.
But like I said, I'm not gonna.
But in the Zipper 50, I mean, out in Bithlo, you get kids. I mean, I watched a young lady get hit by a car that was right behind me. I saw her coming up and it killed me because like knew what she was doing. She was great at school and she was going to get the freaking race bus 451 that only runs like once an hour. She was trying to make it and the car behind me hit her. And I watched it fly over. And you know, I caught them running to do what I have to do, but it was like, gosh, dang, this has been happening. We've not seen too much out there. And it's like, we got like some kind of, you know, where people need are crossing there and create some kind of high intensity lighting system at night, especially. We don't want lights on one road because part of the problem is that you get animals and tell you, I do. And when I'm driving in dark areas, I'm looking for eye shine. I'm looking on the sides, looking for animals that are going to take bears, scream, and dart out. And other animals can do that because they don't have the same perception of where you're at. And so you don't want light on, like what you're saying. If it's blind, I almost got a car accident on I-95 with the new overpass on 295. They have all these giant sodium lights. I was coming through in a rainstorm, and it became a blur, yellow, and I just couldn't tell where the lanes were anymore. So I couldn't see where the lanes were. I was.
The lights do make it big.
It is totally. I'd rather have it dark and just have the reflector, the best invention that we have, and this is the cheapest thing.
That's kind of like that night on Tuesday when I was driving, it wasn't dark yet. So it was still daylight and you had the storm, and I don't know why, but when you have a daylight and a storm, it's harder to see.
Oh, yeah.
Like, 'cause all you see is the rain.
You know, and then the street disappear, you know, and especially, you know, if you don't have those reflectors, and no one can testify, it's like, you don't know where the road is anymore. And I mean, lights, and people feel more comfortable with lights. They're not safe many times, either. Because you want the darkness, you want your own car light to light up and reflect that. The traffic engineers can have enough sense of how to design the route and feedback the data to you as a driver. But the lights is it makes people feel comfortable maybe. But it doesn't have, my book, it doesn't have safety. When I had safety, I do on-demand crosswalks, I have like, you know, it looks like a jail, 8,000 balloons per square meter you drop down on it. And you know that this human being, they only are there until the person's out, and a few seconds after they go dark. So they only, that way people will always, I learned from a quote someone once, you move signs every 2 to 3 days. You don't move signs in the same place where people become oblivious to the sign, you guys who have bought political notes. But I found that interesting that, you know, how fast our minds borders things out. The noise.
So moving forward, what do you all want to vote in for the next meeting?
No, these say around some trip on the stormwater. Also, now that I'm on the other board, we can get how many ideas of we what problems specifically focus on. I know people, but I won't be there. Right, after yeah, once yeah, DPD has a number of problems that we. I also think that you want to find a list of what's specific one that can bring it to the board. I think very much. I have to talk that we should believe in the fact that about what probably would be brought forward,
And maybe, ideas for additional funding. As well.
I think, well, the utility tax was passed in 1994,
We're not supposed to do that, but it's one towards charity.
but it's still, by ordinance, it still is known to, the sheriff department is apprehended illegally. And I think people are the commissions to tell them, either change the ordinance.
But,
Well, I'll bring up doing the budget.
but the thing is that
That's
what happened is that the sheriff have to raise a millage, in order to fund expenses, and politically that doesn't look right, so that's why.
Well, we should, true cost accounting, we as citizens deserve to know what these services are costing. If we think the police service is too expensive, fine, cut them, get rid of the sheriff. It's up to the citizens, it's like, it's a game of stealing from different taxes, because all of it, we paid off the $20 million back that Richard Crotty, Mayor Crotty had proposed, it should be paid off on now. But that money was allocated in '94 to pay for that 20 million bond issue, because the bond issue was paid to go. That money is still being collected, that utility collection.
Sorry, we have one be out of here about 8:30. 3 minutes left, so who is that for?
So, stormwater and, yeah, you don't need some data, I'll probably find out what's on the list, because I'm sorry, I'm looking at the same time. I did that right on there, so I'm familiar with it, and you won't have everything. But, yeah, you want, I know, they work production. Is there stuff that, from a CRC standpoint, that's, when you see that we should, if we're not doing it, should we do it? What should we do? I'd like to hear ideas. The community watch. I like to hear what we can do.
Yeah, I think we need to have the spring sessions and a couple of surveys. And that way we can get some more that we can.
This will be out here expanding we need to reach municipalities. That's something that we should address. And I'd like to see, myself and others to sit and develop further language that we look at a question, commission, probably August. We're sitting in the room on that.
So that rural boundary language.
That's the rural boundary.
And like the red lining of the mayor.
Yeah, the mayor is getting around. It's a vision boundary.
Yeah.
That you have active meeting on that. Now I'd like to see, maybe we put a question about that with people. Could we have, what I've seen, looking at this state, there's 20 charter communities out here, counties. The biggest three, us, the Ball, and Miami-Dade, have this mayor type structure. But we're the only ones that have it mixed. No other charter county has this one together.
I have one.
And what I said originally was it's bipolar in our chart, because in section 108, and when it comes to get really bored and go read the chart, 108 says there shall be a separation of powers. That legislature separate. When we go to define the powers in section 200, it's exactly so mixed up. So we actually have a charter.
That's what the county always had a mayor. We had a chair before,
No,
and then it was changed over
that was part of the chart.
part of the previous.
We chair the commission, one of the prior, we can make that deals with it, right? But, we did have the county chair, what I would envision as part of my rewrite on this would be, we go back on the legislative branch, we're elect a leader. To me, that's the best way, because that leader has to work with everyone, and they can't be a jerk that you want. They have to work with their whole group to make sure, because they can count on it. So if they want that office, then they gotta make it, the mayor should be totally stepping in my book, this because the mayor running controls the executive branch, which is already 8,000 plus employees. And that is, that's, there's no good on ethics, where do you part of ethics? That's another thing I want to do about it. Yeah, I mean, that I actually, we brought that up in the last year in 2020, and that didn't go into things. But that's something that is a problem. I've heard from a lot of employees, there are issues that they can't get up with. It sits right now in the mayor's office. Well, if you get the guy who signed your paycheck, and you complain about the guy who complained, you're not going to complain to your own employees, and he works on it. So we got to park that either in a separate department. Well, another idea that Columbia County has done, which we could do, is independent attorney election. Columbia County, which is Paul County. I don't know how many of y'all even know where it's at. It's a tiny thing, but they have an elected office for the county attorney. And there's benefits connected to that, but it's a separate office. They serve the county attorney serves the board and there it's a county chair. But if we got an election, that would be the place part B was is the independent office. That's getting down into our government's work.
All right, well, in vision 2050, like I really would love some help with that. Maybe go through if I want to review the document and see.
I remember you said that we used to have like one section with like a second chapter and the third, and I never got any of the stuff. It's all on the website, so all 600 pages of it. Oh, that's already.
So
I saw people who made it read it, so but to have a discussion, talk through what's in there.
Cause I know there's like some sections that I don't know, maybe the redundant. I'm looking like whatever you some advance it and also the things probably election.
I think we'll remember. It's going to be put the policy and everything that we're working on.
We can really do that content. The whole content on that is.
So we do and stuff. That's when I have a web developer over the years, I've always seen the new websites drop data. Or we drop and stuff. That's what worries me is there's 30 years of history.
That's the county on the strikes.
Let's see the depth.
It'll be like this comparison of, what you had and what we have now, like what was put out, what was edited, or what was added,
I mean, the history of that, the comp plan comes out around 1985. But in 1985, we broke down from Canada stage, and that's what drove it to this comp plan. It was required in 1989, that's why Hunter Lakes got approved in 1988. Was the road management plan had to be in play at the bottom and starting the county by 89. So that's why we had a conflict. That was 32 years ago, 33 years ago now. But that's 33 years of knowledge. We used to do it things like a year. Every 8 years we go through an evaluation process.
You're still question.
You're still, yeah, I mean, we have that whole chapter 2 created and deleted by Rick Stein. So I'm always scared when change.
So adjourn.
You have
You have to stop the recording on that.
Thank you.